Thanks, Casanova. And geez, Max, leave No You alone. I know the Draven Baron lane did not work for YMCA in that game, but well, actually,
he deserves it.
Okay, to be fair, they won the game, but I know you don't accredit it to them at the Draven pick.
They won despite Draven in Baron Lane. It was not because of Draven in Baron Lane, to be completely clear. As we are now onto this draft. We've got Sentinels on blue, free agents on red, and it looks like amazing. It is for MTS. They're okay. I thought they were completely hacking the game. Yeah. Just kidding.
Like, hey guys, no bans this time. We're just going to skip the ban phase. We're handshaking it. Everyone gets to have access to everything. And considering how many champions have been such high priorities, there's the Orianna ban for one of them, Smacks.
That's a bummer. I've been really looking forward to seeing Michael Udall pull out that Orianna. Like I was already saying, I think this champion's very strong, but yeah, I mean, it's his most comfortable champion. It was in his graphic at the top of the day as well. Free agents, obviously knowing this and seeing the success of Orianna throughout the day, are going to ban that.
For Sentinels here. And what I'm curious, earlier today we saw, when Jolly and Alk were just wrapping up their last series of the day, they talked about how, hey, you know what, Corki, I think it's 5-1 on the day. Lucian, 2-6 so far. So at this point, Alk Battery is very, very committed to the idea that Lucian is just being underperformed right now and is not being maximized. And, I can't really tell him whether he's right or wrong because I'm not the person that plays Lucian every single game whenever we go into our solo queue adventures. He feels good on the champion, but, maybe in this level of gameplay, Corki is just absolutely too powerful. Once his core items have been reached.
I think Alk Battery is just lining up excuses for when he feeds on Lucian in our games.
Damn.
He's like, oh yeah, this champion is just bad.
We're flaming
Come on, guys.
him off stream, man. Come on.
It's banned anyway, so free agents are still thinking that this champion's okay. Yeah. We're getting into the actual picks now. MTS locking in this Camille can still be that flex pick between Baron lane and jungle, and we've even seen it mid lane sometimes, so we'll find out if Michael Udall is thinking about locking that one in. The big picks so far, that Galio's one of them, another flex pick, and can work out really well with Camille. We've been seeing a lot of Nami today. And, that hasn't been picked yet.
Yeah, the support priority for things like Nami and Senna have risen exponentially over the course of this major compared to what we saw in the qualifier. Now, Sentinels already starting to pick a little bit of the global power away with this Twist of Fate lock-in, because considering we've seen this Galio being flexed not only in support, but we've also seen it in the Baron lane for Suki earlier today. It did not win, but knowing free agents' creative and flexibility with these champions means that this Galio is still up in the air on where it could go.
I like that Sentinels are drafting this way where they have huge access from a very long distance away as sort of a read that free agents are going to pick backline at some point. It is a rather bold read, though, because that Galio could just go mid, and then you have just a bunch of melee champions and one marksman. And now with Soji Rain locking in Xayah, this composition is very difficult to assassinate. So I really enjoy the way that free agents have drafted this so far. They're playing very defensively and very bulky too, which is very good against that pick potential, mainly of Kai'Sa, but also of the rest of the champions so far. And Fiora is one of those too. So Sentinels are going to have a pretty tough road unless they can just brute force and win out with pure mechanics.
We've seen two versions of this Fiora, Smacks. Either one, it completely dominates the entire game once it's accelerated, and there's no other champion that can really deal with it in the side lane, or it does nothing, Smacks. I don't know how else to tell you. So, sheesh, on this Camille, I imagine that between him and Michael are going to be putting a lot of attention towards the Baron lane in this game, because if they can get amazing accelerated on this Fiora, you hit that Trinity Force power spike early on before Suki's able to hit a Sunfire Cape or any other comparable power spike, then Suki's going to have an extremely bad time on this Baron. And so I like that Sparkle is locking in the Olaf, trying to get some early game aggression and agency in the game so that they can match counter for counter, blow for blow in the early 2v2s.
Olaf and Galio have the propensity to go fast and go in and get the kills. So for Trifid and Sparkle, giving them this agency is pretty exciting in this game, I would say. They have a lot of melee champions on this team for free agents, and Soju Rain, really the only backliner, might just have to follow in line and go forward with free agents if they are snowballing this game. But I really like the flexibility that he is going to have when it comes to the late game. He can play defensively.
And look at this, free agents taking a page out of, well, not quite Cloud9's book. They just had a 3-man stack mid to see if Sentinels were going to go for something similar, but they help get that first shove in. Trifeed is able to get a deep ward onto blue buff for Sheesh. So if he ever crosses over to that side of the jungle, they actually have 2 deep wards at the moment, one on the Raptor camp and one on the blue buff. So this is going to give Sparkle a ton of information for the first couple of minutes.
Absolutely will. For free agents, like you said, I like that they did scout out to see if Sentinels were going to go for the signature Cloud9 look of the duo mid, because for free agents, that was the qualifier that they had to play through to get there. The best team in that qualifier was Cloud9, and I like that we're seeing the different adaptations based on where the teams have gone through and come from to get to this point at the major.
At this point, you already saw that Sparkle had not fully cleared out his top side, just the red buff and the Raptor camp is transitioning over to the bottom side now for the Scuttle Crab spawn. Sheesh wanted to go for the contest, but already Sentinels are not quite in the position. We're going to see it's a beautiful Sentinel grasp onto Soju Rain. It's going to lock them up, force the flash over the wall. Sheesh in hot pursuit, but doesn't go for the killer aggression quite yet. They get the crab, and that's all they want.
Soju Rain using both defensive summoner spells right there.
Flash over the wall. Beautiful first blood for Sentinels.
Excellent use of the hook shot from Sheesh. The lockdown potential on this champion is immense. One of the most powerful junglers in the meta for that reason. And for the rest of the game, too, you get the extra clear when you stun the camps with hook shots, too. It's just one of the strongest abilities in the entire game of Wild Rift. Put to good use, killing Trifeed and finding that kill for Michael Udall, too, who is playing this Twisted Fate. As this champion, he is really the only magic damage dealer for his team. He will need to be ahead of the curve to make sure the free agents can't just itemize for full armor and shrug off the Twisted Fate damage.
And even though you might not expect that Twisted Fate getting accelerated doesn't mean that much, but it does mean that Rod of Ages completion comes in a little bit quicker, and it makes Twisted Fate have a little bit more extra durability. Notice here he's also rocking the Fleet of Footwork, so he's able to keep himself topped off in lane, and there is a potential that you can always have Michael be another split pusher in the side lane, and we haven't really seen a lot of 1-3-1s in Wild Rift so far. It's mostly the 1-4 or just death balls, but this could be an option for Sentinels, and you could really push and pull apart the free agents composition that they've drafted.
The more options you have in the late game, the better. And when you're winning the game, you get even more of those. You get to open up that map and take all of the objectives that you could possibly imagine. And just like you said, Michael Udall now with the full Rod of Ages at 3 minutes is going to have that stacked up very quickly. One of the more like sleeper good snowballing items to get. It's why you see it so often on support champions as well, and we will likely see it from Trifeed too, but with that death, he only has the one component so far.
Check this out. Sentinels already making their early rotation of sending their duo into the mid lane, getting this hard shove into the turret, while Michael is already splitting towards the dragon lane. Now, Sparkle might want to look for a contest onto the Rift Herald, as free agents are reading the fact that Sentinels are trying to maintain control in preparation for this first dragon take. We might have another fight as Suki is starting to wrap around now. Ragnarok is going to force Sheesh to pop the Hextech ultimatum. He doesn't have flash. It's going to be a nice kill from free agents as they catch out the jungler from Sentinels.
There's the dive potential from free agents, Rafa. We talked about how well this Olaf can play in the early game. Oh boy,
Whoa!
Soju Rain.
Okay, well, it looks like Rest. Not sure how they got into that sticky situation, but Soju Rain comes out on top there for free agents, and they're just pulling ahead even more now.
They absolutely are. Free Rift Herald, and with that extra set of kills, too, Sentinels can't trade the Drake either. They've fully committed to try for that topside fight, and it goes fully to the wayside, Rafa. You can see Sheesh is in the area for this dragon, but Sparkle's going to be there for this. I don't even know if Sentinels can actually take it.
They are not quite ahead in terms of item curve. Just because of those 2 skirmishes, you now have completed first items for Soju Rain and for Sparkle. So you're fighting stats down in terms of some of these item completions. The only people that have first items is still Michael with the Rod of Ages and for MTS with that Trinity Force, but he's splitting on the other side of the map, and free agents already have priority for this dragon to secure.
I'm impressed by Sparkle in this early game. Full death stance completed for himself now, going for the aggressive first item, wanting more skirmishes in this game. And oh, Twisted Fate Ultimate is here. Oh, no!
Oh, whoa! What a nice stun from the beginning! But the turnaround might be enough from Sparkle. Hextech Hold'em made him locked him down, so they trade 1 for 1. But now they're still pressing forward on the aggression, forcing the Feather Storm out of Soju Rain. Going to be able to get out of harm's way, but Sentinel still being able to answer back.
Soju Rain flashed the Senna Snare into everyone on his team. That was very tragic right there. Does mean the Sentinels get to trade a kill back. But a little bit of an oopsie for Soju Rain. It's probably okay for him to do that, because...
Michael!
Oh, it's good flash, good flash. Yeah, it's probably okay for Soju Rain to do that, because he would have been very out of position otherwise, but he does kill Sparkle in the meantime, so Sparkle's not feeling great about it.
Now we're starting to see item completions coming in for Sentinel, and despite them being behind on what item curve, it's because they were going for slightly more expensive items. The Death Stance, compared to a Trinity Force, is a little cheaper to access for... respective junglers here between Sentinels and free agents. But now, Trinity Force item power spikes are online. This is where you can just start really roaming around the map. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Goodbye, beginnings. You don't have a place to go. This is bad.
Yeah. I think he was just trying to kill the honey fruit, just to try to get something. But yeah, very, very bad position to be in for beginning. And... For Sentinels, they've got this 2-item Twisted Fate. So this Twisted Fate is snowballed. Michael Udall is going to deal damage, but for Sentinels, they really just have the pick potential. They really just have the ultimates and single target damage with a composition like this. The AoE is just not there. I like this usage here.
Yeah, we were talking about in the draft, hey, when are we going to see acceleration towards the top side of the map? But... being under the tower means that Suki is able to trade 1 for 1 with the Demacian Justice going on to MTS, and Rift Arrow being popped on the Dragon Lane from free agents with no one able to respond right now means that they're going to be able to break open a turret on the bottom side of the map as they are pushing in the mid lane as well.
The return kill is huge for Suki. The fact that he is able to get at least 1 kill in trade just means the world to him, because he is that tank. He wants to be the front line for the squad, and when you get super tanky on this Garen, it becomes very tricky for Sentinels to go for that same play again. Oh,
hey, it's the Righteous Glory Galio tech, and they lock down beginnings, nowhere else to run, no chance to respond. Free agents continuously, even though the gold lead is still not in their advantage, constantly looking for picks, trying to get their way back into the game off of these very, very fast skirmishes.
Yeah, the main reason they're down in gold right now, Rafa, is because of the turrets that they've dropped. They are at a deficit right there, so when Suki is able to take down this turret and the plates that are attached to it, it will be a little bit easier for them to keep that gold lead going. They're certainly still in the driver's seat, despite that extra gold that they're missing out on, and you can see it in the plays that Trifeed is going for. The Righteous Glory tech on Galio is one of my favorite item combinations with a champion's kit in the entire game. Putting it to great use on this, even in the mid lane. I really enjoy that.
The Sentinels trying to push back into the mid lane as the next dragon is about to spawn in 10 seconds. Free agents coming to match. We might just have a 5-on-5 brawl here. Mr. Smacks, as already Sentinels trying to bully their way into the river.
I don't know if a 5v5 favors Sentinels. They have to be very worried about this Olaf.
Yeah, flash from Sparkle is going to force everyone else's flashes and escape routes. Demacian Justice comes in, smites out rest. Good night, sweet prince. And for free agents, they have complete control of the river now, but they used a bunch of ultimates. No Heroes Entrance, no Demacian Justice, no Ragnarok, and now here comes the turnaround. Sheesh locking down Suki with the Hextech Ultimatum and Tri-Feed, but Tri-Feed might be able to live before Ignite finally takes him down, but free agents still have the damage to be able to answer back, taking down Sheesh and MTS.
Again, Rafa, free agents have the 5v5 composition, and Sentinels just don't. They don't want to be in a situation like this. All of their damage is built to take down a single target. You're not trying to go for any AoE, and the one AoE ability that they really have, the Senna ultimate, the Dawning Shadow, was used just very defensively to try to land those shields down. So for Sentinels, I really need to see them going for different plays like this. They have to have that snowball going, and they have to find picks before the objective. This might be one of them.
I mean, Gold Card is not going to work until the Ragnarok is finally exhausted. Great patience from Michael, being able to wait out the timer of the ultimate. Sparkle has nowhere else to run, just bought the GA, and now it's already being used, so this is a great tempo play for Sentinels.
That's exactly what I was talking about, Rafa. As soon as they isolate one target, Sentinels have the damage that they need, and they can get through one target very efficiently. Love to see that from them. And an overstep from Sparkle, feeling very confident with his Guardian Angel. Just get it used up immediately. See if Sentinels can get anything else off of it, though. They're missing some minions in the bottom lane. You can see there on the minimap in the top left. Looks like it will be Sheesh going to go pick that up. Maybe. It's Michael, actually.
Maybe. Michael's got it. Michael is the man with the plan. For
he's going rapid fire cannon too.
Oh my goodness, that's. Oh, it's not second item. He already has the Lich Bane. Okay,
yeah.
You know what I was about to say is like, man, you're really relegating yourself to utility duty, man. You don't have to do that. But he's
got the AP. He's good.
He's got the damage. For free agents, when we go back to the draft smacks, we talked about how Sentinels have the ability to split up the map, look for isolated picks, but trying to separate one single member out. For free agents, the reason why they've been taking these skirmishes so many times in the first 10 minutes of the game is just because it's all about combos, man. You're linking up the Olaf to get a massive hero's entrance for Tri-Feed to follow up, and you're just rampaging through the front line. But this Olaf is not going to do the best the later the game goes on. And Sentinels, you have a fantastic bruisers in Sheesh's Camille and MTS on the Fiora. I mean, the Fiora is just going to be at a point where she can start split pushing down into the game. It's not quite there yet, but now with the Blade of the Rune King completed, I imagine this is where free agents have to start worrying about if the game is going on too long.
You say that MTS is going to have a nice time split pushing, but when I look over at Sentinels, I'm really curious to know which members will be doing the split pushing, but we'll think about that later.
Well, you know what? Why don't they just go for a pick onto Sparkle right now? He doesn't have GA anymore. Shishu's going to use his own GA in making sure that the engagement goes fairly well for Sentinel. They take one out. Shishu's able to get out despite using the GA, but it looks like Soju Rain, or MTS actually is getting routed off here.
Oh, the Braum!
Now free agents, oh my goodness, free agents almost going down, but Sheesh with a beautiful hex shot into the tactical sweep picks up a double.
Well done for Sheesh, saving that fight for his team right there. This Camille, so much work being put in. The ultimate is the main tool that they have to isolate one target, and it's used very well. Nice set of kills, 3 of them now for Sentinels. They're not very strong when it comes to taking down these objectives, and there isn't a Drake for them to tackle quite yet. But again, the extra gold is going to be huge, and getting these picks before the objective means that they can start setting up before free agents is even on the map.
At this point, Sentinel is starting to find their grip once again in this game, now that a lot of the remaining members have been able to pick up some stats, going into second and potentially third item completions across the board here for Sentinels. Free agents, when you still have that combo between Sparkle and Tri-Feed, you still can get work done. You can just run through into the backline and annihilate rest and beginning, but that time window is starting to run out.
Absolutely is. Free agents have to be careful around this turret. They don't want to lose out on this. Just opens up more leeway for Sentinels and their pick composition that they have. Grouping up as 5, though, not pressuring the other lanes, just wanting to be here for when the Drake does spawn and when the fight actually does connect. I don't believe they have any teleports available quite yet, so just playing it very safe as Sentinels. This is a double-edged sword, though, because at the same time, Fiora's not really able to do much right here, where you could just be in that side lane taking a turret.
I mean, you can tell how much they want to fight over for the dragon or for this turret, because if all five members are dedicated to this one objective instead of just picking up all these minion waves that are being lost in the bottom side for Sentinels, and now that MTS left, free agents call for the engage. They run through immediately in Rest and Michael, and now they buy their ticket into the Dragon Pit.
Free agents are playing this mid-game around objectives so well, Rafa. I'm very impressed with their tenacity and their just willingness to go forward when they see that the enemies are out of position. That's exactly what happens. MTS, he loses that bot side turret. They see that the Dragon Lane turret is dead, and for free agents, they know, oh, MTS, he's going to have to go down there. He can't just stay around here. He's Fiora, and they make that call. The call continues to be correct as they're starting up this Baron.
Sheesh. Can you make the Baron steal, man? It would be difficult.
Can he
Suki's
even
doing his
live?
best to play goalkeeper. Yeah, that's the big problem right now. Looks like Sheesh is just going to call it off. There's no way that he can get in there safely. Baron will be secured by free agents. And now, for Sentinels, you're kind of on a back foot right now. 3 dragons have gone towards the way of free agents. Also this Baron. They not only have the extra stats from these objective smacks, but also they are... Oh, no. Michael! Michael!
You got Ragnaroked right there.
Woo. Ragnarok to the core, man. That's cold blood.
Ragnarok and roll.
Mm.
I can't
Free
believe that's not
agents.
an Olaf skin yet.
Yeah, well, you mean the Pentakill one?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because the Pentakill one is the one where he's a drummer, man. That's super
Well,
sick.
they should give him a voice line that says Ragnarok and roll then. I can't be the first person to think of this.
Probably not.
Anyway.
I mean, there's got to be more creative people. Right. They have come out with some good stuff. At this point in the game, no
more
smacks.
creative than you, Smacks.
I didn't want to say that. But at this point in the game, free agents, they're up in stats, up on objectives. The map control has been kind of back and forth, but as you said before, Sentinels have not been able to consistently isolate members of free agents to accelerate the composition that they drafted for. We haven't really seen this Fiora split push come online. She has the items, but MTS hasn't really found windows or opportunities where if they go for a split push, free agents can just brute force their way into fighting for another objective that Sentinels are trying to fight for, or giving up a potential another turret.
And honestly, Rafa, I don't even know if MTS can break through Suki at this point. There's a full Randuin's and Thornmill and Sunfire, and it's only going to get worse from here. I believe that is going to be a Sterix completed too, so this Garen is not easy to kill, and for Garen, as a champion, you do sort of just need to break him all at once, or else that health regen will come back, and he'll be right back at it. But it's been very tricky for MTS to do much of anything on this Fiora.
Oh, wait a minute. There is an isolated kill. Rest
Soju's
was able
dead.
to pick up Soju Rain. No, not using Featherstorm either, so I imagine the snare just popped up and they were able to 100 to 0 him. Maybe Ignite was burned from Michael. So I imagine it's just a 3-on-1. Being able to catch out Soju Rain. That buys a lot of time for Sentinels, and the Baron buff is now gone from free agents.
Definitely does, and look at where MTS is going, right down to the Dragon Lane. He's completely isolated there, pushing in the minion wave. We'll have to push way above that line of scrimmage to get any structures out of it, but just applying this pressure is very valuable for Sentinels. Wow.
Stove is trying to just use the Glacial Fissure to wave clear. The rest of Sentinels say, screw the minion waves, we gotta brute force our way through the turret. Gold card will land. Stove getting chunked quite a heavily amount here as free agents are now being pushed back. The next dragon, even though free agents have gotten the first 3 dragon smacks, we have seen games be completely flipped, almost as hard as when games get flipped by Zapdos in Pokemon Unite, when the other team is able to steal the Elder Dragon.
Almost as hard. We don't have anything as bad as Zapdos in this game, luckily.
Thankfully not.
For the Elder Dragon, though, it's a very good call. If free agents get it, then it's almost a game over with 3 dragons stacked up with it. Just a gigantic buff, but at the same time, Sentinels can try to deny this one away.
Whoa!
Nice root. I don't know if it's going to mean much of anything, though. A lot of circles on the screen tend to bait us with the Kaisa activation, too, but for free agents,
lights.
they're still ready to do this.
Big circles. Go stupid. Free agents, though. Now they're going to pop the Destiny, try to get some vision here. MTS is being called to force in the fight right now. Another snare is going to stun up the front line here. Ragnarok being popped from Sparkle buys him an access pass into the back line, but Rest is able to get out alive thanks to the killer instinct, but Suki has other plans on his mind as he's able to smite him down. But a grand challenge from MTS will take down the Baron laner for a free agent. He's getting to double onto the other front laner from free agent. Sparkle is gone, and
MTS?
now Soldier Rain is getting oppressed by the backline. MTS, can he turn this one around? Sheesh and Beginnings still alive, still in the backline, keeping things safe. And without the dragon, or I should say the jungler from free agents, there's no smite that could come out from Sentinels, but still free agents can pressure them off the objective.
Sentinels did take that favorable fight, and they can go for that recall right now and come right back to the scene of the crime, the Elder Dragon Pit. I don't know if Sentinels have enough time to actually take this one down, but it feels like they might just have to go for it all the same, Rafa. They're going to do it. Smite's not here for Sparkle. He's dead for 10 seconds. I think they may have done this.
They are burning it down so fast, Max, that there's no contestation from free agents unless Stove can hit like a lucky glacial fissure or something, but no, Elder Dragon will be secured by Sentinels.
That's huge for Sentinels, and the winning that fight too is a very good sign. They were able to make the fight very scattered. Free agents did not have a suitable front line and a suitable just line of battle in general to set up for success in the 5v5 fights. They let Sentinels sort of walk all over them, and this is the consequence. They now lose out on that Elder Dragon that they've worked so hard to accomplish for their team with all the snowballing, all the team fights. We're now at 21 minutes in, and free agents don't have that buff to show for it.
MTS, 4 items to his name. Also the Last Whisper, which means, and maybe now you can start splitting on the map. They have the teleport enchantment to be able to join the fight as free agents are trying to force something here. Sheesh is able to hookshot over the wall. Ragnarok, not going to be popped quite just yet, or already has been used. MTS has joined the fight. It's a bunch of damage coming out from Sentinels, but free agents, are they living through it all? MTS, his GA is going to get popped up. A nice killer instinct from Rest is going to find Sparkle, but you got to deal with the other members from free agents. They still have Soju Rain, they still have Stove and Suki, but they might be on the retreat now because Michael Udall has a gold card, stuns it up, pops the Sterix Gauge. Free agents are going to be able to survive with the 3 remaining members, and it might be enough. But Sentinels, this is their time to start up the Baron with a numbers advantage.
This is so risky. Baron's going to deal them a lot of damage, but they're turning instead.
Soju Rain! Dude, no, man. Soju Rain has got to run now. Has to flash over the wall, but not respecting the Senna snare. Oh, my goodness.
Rafa, Sentinels are missing out on a lot by doing this, though. They do still find those kills, but they lost an inhibitor turret in the Baron lane. This is still a very close game. Sentinels, they went out on that fight, but look at the Nexus. They're losing Nexus health.
Should be able to regen here, but man, I know I kind of lost my right there because it's such a tense game 1, and for a marksman's life to be almost lost because of something like that can always be a heartbreaker.
Yeah. And that flash not being up for the next fight is going to be big for Soju Rain. This guy who needs to have his own will to flash out and survive the exchanges that Sentinel are going for. Now, with this Baron, they still have to go through the super minions in the Baron lane, but Dragon lane is freed up. They do have MTS posted up there. I believe the teleport is available. He wants to access the other side of the map, and with that Baron buff, Sentinels are able to pressure multiple sides of the map. But free agents, they still have this 5v5 composition that they can use.
And look at MTS is pulling Suki away onto the Dragon lane right now. Bunch of damage going out on Soju Rain. It's already at half HP, Smacks. And Sheesh is now, they're setting up a 1-3-1, but it's now Sheesh who's going to be the dedicated split pusher on the top side of the map because you do a lot of single target damage on the turrets with this Trinity Force. Michael has joined MTS on the bottom side. They've taken down the turret. The turret is open in the mid lane. All 3 turrets are gone for free agents. It's an open Nexus. And now, can they make this push here? Free agents are trying to fight back here against the Nexus and defend their base. But Smack!
It's over!
I think against all odds, Sentinels, they've done it, and they brought out game 1 in their favor.
Oh, Sentinels. That was a nail biter right there. They were looking in dire straits all throughout, Rafa. The team fights were just not what this composition was built to do. but they found ways to scatter free agents like the wind. And oh, when it comes down to it, all it takes is taking that Elder Dragon and taking a couple of fights after that, and the Nexus falls. Simple as that.
That mid game was so scary and
Yeah.
so terrifying from free agents. There is a moment where after stacking the first 3 dragons, they get the Baron buff. There's a world where you are able to just close out the game. But then there is a moment that we didn't get to see on screen, but Soju Rain caught out. Whether it was there was no flash burned from Michael, but he just, I don't know if it was a Senna snare that clipped him and then Gold Card able to follow up. There was an ignite burned. That's all we know. But that completely deterred and slowed down the Baron buff push from free agents. And from that point on, MTS was at a strong enough point, had the GA, was able to go and threaten the front line and the back line after being able to take down Suki with the Grand Challenge. At that point, Fiora finally came online. We were talking about it and we were expecting it. Why weren't we seeing plays being made towards the Baron lane for Fiora and trying to accelerate it? It just seemed like Sentinels could never find the opportunity, apart from one that only ended up in a 1-for-1. But they held on, they persevered, and now game 2, where it could have been free agents' match point to win, it's now Sentinels' match point to win, Smax.
It feels like we just get the longest games of Wild Rift possible. I feel like this has been the longest game on the stream so far today with how tense and back and forth it was.
It was nuts.
Most of the games today have been like sort of one-sided in stumps, but this one is completely the opposite. And again, we talked about it before the game actually began, Rafa. I am really appreciating the way the free agents are drafting their compositions together. I love the way that they think about how to counteract things that their opponents go for. But when it comes down to the final moments in these fights, I just want to see free agents have a stronger comprehension of what needs to happen for them to win the games. I think that a really big understanding for what a win condition looks like for this team in different moments is going to be really crucial for free agents and for activating these compositions that we've seen, because I like the compositions, but they are just letting things slip through the cracks over and over in these games. And, we can excuse it when they're against Tribe, because Tribe looks like the best team in the whole tournament. And I think most teams are going to fall against Tribe, but when it's this close, you can't help but feel a little bit just like something is missing for free agents, and I hope they can turn it around.
Yeah, and it's not to say that their comprehension of the composition wasn't there. The first 15 minutes of the game was played out insanely well, and the way that they forced Sentinel's hand to say, hey, we're about to threaten this dragon, so you better send all 5 members to us. But then they had previously set up waves, both in the Baron and the Dragon lane, to just barrel down, and there's a ton of experience and gold that is being lost out by Sentinels, and especially when one of your laners is not necessarily the best for team fighting. It's supposed to be a dedicated split pusher in Fiora, at least until, for the first 2 item power spikes. Then that's so much resources that MTS is being forced to lose out on, because the call from Sentinels is, no, we need you here because they're about to force the dragon. And for Sentinels, that in that instance, the call was that this objective has more priority than sending you off to a resource lane. And then as soon as it's like, okay, guys, we're not able to get anything done, we've waited like 3-4 minion waves coming into mid lane. Nothing has been achieved, and we're just losing resources, and we're losing turret HP. At some point, as soon as MTS leaves, free agents just pop the acceleration pedal and they just go for it, right? Yeah. And so seeing that tells me that free agents, they know what to do. It's just when it comes down to the very, very late game, mispositions and mishaps, like what we saw around the Baron and with the pick onto Soju Rain as well, it's like it's harder to say how to fix those issues, because they can just happen. It's like, well, crap. Like, what are we supposed to say? Don't get caught out next time? I mean, like, it sounds so stupid. It's just like, oh yeah, just don't get caught out. Forehead, don't lose. But like in those moments, it's something that where I imagine constant communication
Yeah.
has to be present at all times.
You have to be very wary of different moments in a fight that cause you to have to shift your focus and have to shift your goal. Because, like you said, when they saw that Fiora was completely isolated from the team, that was a great moment where free agents were like, "Oh, our goal is now to fully engage. Our goal is now to just dive in. Fiora's not here. We have the outnumbered fight." But when it came down to the 5v5s that were a lot longer than that and everyone was present, I think that the big thing for free agents was that their calls and their focus was a bit shifted and wasn't completely aligned with one central goal. Which, in my opinion, like I was saying it in the game, I think they just needed to set up those battle lines, set up their front line in the front, and it sounds simple, but it is quite difficult to actually manage this in the middle of a crazy fight, especially when things like Hextech Ultimatum are in for Camille too. But that's just something that you're going to have to do against compositions like Sentinels are putting together with this vast pick potential.
We should be seeing free agents on the blue side in this upcoming draft. Sentinels will be taken to the red side. To recall some of the bans that we had, Sentinels had taken away Gragas, Kali, and I believe it was Ziggs. And then free agents had taken away Corki, Lucian, and blanking on the the Oriana as well.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to see if it. I would not be surprised if free agents, quote unquote, feel confident to run a similar composition back, as it was literally just not being able to close out the game early enough, right? They had all the pieces, they had all the dominoes ready to fall and set up, and it was just really two pieces left, just one more siege, and it could have been free agents for them.
We've been talking a lot about what free agents did in that game and what they maybe should have done, but for Sentinels, honestly, the resilience to come back into that game was very impressive.
Absolutely.
And I'm excited to see what they can do with a composition that is more versatile, perhaps, or just doesn't have three champions that want to split push, because there are only two lanes that you can really split push in. So when you have Camille, Fiora, and Twisted Fate that all want to do that, it becomes too many cooks in the kitchen, So for
too
Sentinels,
many cooks. Too many cooks. Oh, all right. Yeah, that meme has haunted me after seeing it multiple times at 1 a.m.
Fun video.
Yeah. Well, that's one way of putting it. Free agents still sticking to their guns, but they're going to take away the Camille, as it is not a champion that they want to prioritize for themselves in this first pick. This does now open up a potential Corki or Lucian trade if Sentinels go with the same bans from game one.
I like the Camille adaptation. Sheesh looked so good in that champion, so removing that one from the picture is a good idea. And honestly, like I was saying, it might help out Sentinels in the long run if they just lock in 2 split push champions rather than 3. Maybe that'll be a good thing eventually. But yeah, still stock standard bans. We're expecting the Lucian to be banned. We're expecting the Ziggs to be banned. And if not, probably looking at those to be first picked by free agents. So for this composition that free agents are looking to build, I liked the 5v5 idea. I think that they can go back to something like that, and I think if they fix up what's going on in the middle of those fights, then this composition does favor what free agents want to do quite well. And denying Gare in a way too is a good way to say that they want to trade for one of those really powerful marksmen that does fit well into those team comps.
Well, right now it's actually a trade between either Lucian or Ziggs, because Corki.
I count Ziggs as a marksman personally.
Okay.
He plays like one, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, you can put him into the Dragon lane effectively. For Sentinels, question and decision is theirs. One thing that is going to for sure slip through the cracks this time around is the Akali, and this is also the first game where both Akali and Lucian not being banned. Free agents, those were champions that they took off the table. Akali from Sentinels and Lucian from free agents, respectively. If we go down in terms of kind of champion priority, we've seen Lucian prioritized in a lot of games.
Yeah,
There it is.
gotta lock it in. It's just too powerful. Big flex pick, and yeah, I mean, we've said a lot about this champion. One thing that I don't think we've said at all is that compared to PC League, the culling range is so big because they kept it the same, but the map is smaller. So
Yep.
it shoots way further, relatively speaking, which I think is very funny for
It,
Lucian.
it it essentially doubled Lucian's effective range going from the
Yeah,
PC client to the Wild Rift. Now
it's
Sentinels,
really big.
I I do like that they're remaining with the Twist of Fate for Michael. I think
Yeah.
his presence on the map. Now they did struggle in the mid game, but the parts where picks were isolated, and considering that one of the game winning picks that essentially started out the game was off of Michael being able to team up with Beginning or Beg with that gold card Senna snare combo. And now Sheesh getting his hands on the Olaf means that in terms of early game junglers, you're left with things like Xin Zhao, Wukong, but you're now getting a ton of physical damage from free agents, and Sparkle has pulled out Fizz jungle in the past years, Max.
Yes, and with the Olaf band, we might be leaning in that direction. There are not very many magic damage dealing Baron laners, I feel, in the meta right now, outside of the tanks of Gragas and Malphite, who we've seen put to great use.
I want to see some Kennen.
Namely by Chuck. I haven't seen much Kennen at all, but it would be
I
pretty
know.
fun.
That's why I'm saying, man.
I like
Remember we
the
told-
Nami and Lucian too, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well that is a magic damage dealing Baron laner, Rafa. It's not Kennen, it's not a tank,
Wow.
but you know what? It fits the bill anyway. We got Sin.
But this is a blind pick, Max. So I mean,
Yeah.
unless Sentinels and MTS is not really prepared for a singed counter pick whatsoever, because this is a champion that we don't even really see in solo queue. I think
No.
within the I think like 60, 70 games we've played, I think we've seen singed like 2 times.
I don't think we've seen it at all. I can't
No,
remember seeing
no.
any of them.
Oh, well, I played against the Singed earlier this
okay.
morning before you started playing with me, and it was actually a big nuisance, but it's because our Tryndamere just ran it down, so,
Well.
I mean, it is what it is.
What else is a Tryndamere to do, Rafa? That's the only option for that.
You know, if Chuck or any of the Wild Rift Summoner Series player Baron laners can play Tryndamere in this major and make it look good, I will never flame Tryndamere as a champion pick again.
Ooh, even when it's on our team in
Yes.
ranks? Oh wow.
Yes.
That is
I'm that confident that
is
no
a
one will ever
tall
do it.
order. Okay. Well, if anyone can do that, let us know. We'll we'll have a pretty big punishment for Rafa because we've spent most of today flaming Tryndameres, it feels like.
This is awful, man. Stove and Soju Rain once again taking to the mid lane to help Tri-Feed get the early push onto Michael as they make their rotation over back to the Dragon lane. And the other thing, too, is Sparkle is starting up on this side of the map. Normally, we haven't really seen red buff Krug ganks into Dragon lane that often in the major so far, but it is an option. But Sentinels, already being prepared for it, have placed 2 wards in the Tri and River Bush.
You know what this tells me, Rafa? This tells me that it is more valuable to leash my mid lane than it is to leash jungle. So I think I'm going to be leashing you in the jungle significantly less in ranks. Sounds like our mid laners need a little bit more. But again, this is a good scouting for free agents. Again, we mentioned in first game where if there is a duo lane mid, they want to be prepared for that. So I like that out of free agents. Now back to this Baron lane. We've seen a lot of Lucian Nami so far today, I'd say.
A little bit of early game aggression in the mid lane,
Wow.
but Sheesh is there for the counter and says, Sparkle, you can't walk that far, buddy.
No, you absolutely can't. Sparkle just dashing right into the range of Twisted Fate and Olaf. Some disrespect, I'd say. You do not really want to be fighting Olaf in the early game as Xin Zhao, one of the main counters in both versions of League of Legends, because Olaf has so much early game skirmish power. And I really like what Beg and Rest are doing, setting up for this Scuttle Crab and giving it over to Sheesh. Continuing that for Olaf is so valuable, and you can keep that farm lead going.
And now he's level 5. So Ragnarok is available. Where's Sparkle? He's still level 3. He's
Yeah.
got some catching up to do.
Look at the gold difference, too. Sheesh is almost doubling the Xin Zhao money right now. Sheesh.
Man, I can't believe I just did that on stream. I know that's his name, but we try to save it for like the big moments. But that
This is a big moment, I'd say.
Yeah,
this is really big. This is a very big jungle game. If you're playing in this game and you're this far ahead, you're popping off. I know you are.
that is true. Now, the thing about Olaf, as we saw in the game 1 when it was on the free agent side, you are very strong for the first 10, 15 minutes of the game. But at some point, your utility and your effectiveness as Olaf is it kind of diminishes, to put it nicely, Smacks.
I'd say so. And Sparkle experienced it firsthand in game 1, so he knows better than anyone that he will eventually have more usefulness than Sheesh. Gotta feel nice knowing that one is still there, but you have a while to go before that is actually going to be the case. Clearing those Raptors and making Sheesh's way up to the Baron side, where we... Oh!
Woo! Okay, MTS with the fancy moves was looking for the assassination on Nasuki, but not going so far into tower to make sure he doesn't accidentally get kill over. Oh,
very well done.
Big, man.
That was beautiful stuff from Beg. He lands the grand entrance first and then gets the charm down. Usually you see charm used first so that you can guarantee the knock-up lands, but Beg just very confident in his own ability. I love that. It lets you layer the crowd control even further on, and Rakan is just very deceptive with the amount of crowd control he actually does bring if you use it like that.
Sparkle is going to try to take advantage of this zone, knowing that there's no quickness available. Featherstorm is still available, but Beg might be in a bad spot here. Tidal Wave comes out. The bubble doesn't quite land, but Michael is now here for the counter gank. Pops the Destiny. It's a blue card, not quite a gold card for stuns, but they throw out the wild cards, trying to get the damage down. Gold card lands on a stove, forces his flash out. It's going to be fine. Free agents, backs against the wall under this turret, as Sheesh is here for reinforcements. Strifeed trying to be able to answer back. Dryfeed has to pop the death mark here, but Sheesh is trying to test his luck here. It's not enough. Dryfeed comes out on top.
Wow, blinking health bars for both teams, but Sheesh is the one who goes too far. Suki is here! The flip.
The ground, the fling, but it's not enough damage from Suki. And Beg and Rest are able to provide enough assistance to make sure that Michael doesn't go down.
MTS is trying to get a piece of the pie now, going straight mid lane, but I believe everyone's going to be recalling after that skirmish. Only Tryfeed finding a kill there. The assassination potential of Zed with Yomu's Ghostblade is feeling okay about it. And yeah, I think she's just thought that his team was going to back him up a little bit, but no such luck. Everyone was so low. It was really close for both teams finding even more kills than that.
Sentinels, unlike their game 1, not only have the slight gold advantage, but also it seems like they have the tempo advantage. Sheesh being this ahead in the jungle. The gold lead has diminished after his death over to Tryfeed, but still, being the first jungler with the item completion in that death stance gives him a lot more presence on the power on the Rift. But Sparkle, making sure that no advantages go too grand in Sentinel's way, as he's able to trade with the Rift Herald, and now it's going to be crucial to see where and when he decides to use this.
Trade's very valuable, and yeah, just like you said, he has 3 options for where he wants to put the Rift Herald. We'll see which one he picks. But for just the gold and economy sake for Sparkle, like you said, he is mitigating that lead. Now only 200 gold between those two. That's going to feel great. And that Trinity Force now fully completed. This Xin Zhao is now online, despite the early wayside that the camps went over to Sheesh and the early kill. The seconds in Wild Rift just mean so much more than other games because this game is so fast-paced. So the seconds that Sheesh did spend dead became very valuable for the side of free agents, and they have been able to bounce back.
Michael does have Destiny, but he's having a little tough time trying to contest the push against Tryfeed as Sparkle is waiting here in the bushes, waiting in the wings. Oh, nice. Nice quill from Big Beg as he actually is able to spot out Sparkle just waiting in the bush.
Yeah, well done. I believe that the minions leaned toward Sparkle, indicating that he was there. I think that's what happened. So Beg getting a tip off from the AI of the minions. That's what we call winions right there, Rafa. Using those to your advantage. Always going to feel great.
Would they lean, though, even if there's no vision in the bush?
I
That's weird.
I mean, it looked like it happened. I'm just saying what I saw. I can only attest to what I've seen with my own 2 eyes. Okay.
Sheesh is waiting.
Ooh.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Run, Soju Raid. It's not going to be enough. They just layered all the whole crowd control, and they brought the whole goon squad here. Sheesh and Michael coming from downtown. But now the re-engage from Sparkle is able to equalize back onto Sheesh. This might prevent the Dragon or any other further objectives being pushed in, but Beg and Rest still going to test their luck and see if they can go for plates on this Dragon turret.
Jace just got home alone. Everyone else on Sentinel took the plane out, but he was stuck under the turret. Did not have the booby traps ready for the goon squad, as it turns out. Does get taken down yet again, but Sentinel's just a really nice proactive dive. I love the use of the Twisted Fate ultimate to get down to those other lanes in the early game. Because while the lane is still going on, you're not really expecting that much interaction between those 2 lanes. The turrets haven't even been taken down quite yet, but we're seeing that Michael Udall is making sure that free agents have to keep thinking about that.
Gold card lands. Grand entrance to the knockup on the Sparkle. Beg, though, a little too far forward as Tri-Feed was waiting over the Dragon Pit wall. He's able to slow him down with that Shadow Slash. It takes out the support for Sentinels. And now the Rift Herald is going to be comboed with this push. They can go for not only this Dragon turret, but also potentially the Dragon on respawn.
Absolutely can. Sentinels full retreat. They lost their support, even with the quickness that was able to be cast, I believe. Not going to go for that one quite yet. Just does fall down. No Dragon, though. It was a little bit late, so that will not be available for free agents quite yet. But these picks are a good sign.
MTS and Michael putting a lot of their pressure towards the Baron side of the map at the moment. Sheesh was ready to contest the river, but there's 4 members there from free agents. About to be 5 as Suki is making his way downtown. And he's,
oh boy,
he's walking fast.
Beg is so close to all of the members of free agents, he doesn't even know it. Will back away and not get punished for it. Oh, Rest is very close too, but
that choke point right there, Smacks, is like the choke point of death. We've seen so many people die throughout the qualifier and the major so far. As now Sentinels are making their entrance into the river.
Ooh.
The calling comes out. Sparkle gets knocked up here. Sheesh is now pressing forward with the Ragnarok, but the Death Mark was already used. He gets bursted out by the members of free agents. MTS is in the back line, but he's all surrounded. He's got no way out, and Sentinels are all trying to scatter like the wind. Michael's looking for an individual pick on Tri-Feed, but this Twisted Fate is not pumping out enough damage at the moment. Suki is going to flip him right back. Tri-Feed does go down for Michael's efforts. Can he get out? A shield from Beg. The knock-up with the Grand Entrance. Suki, he might get routed off here. The Feathers is not going to do enough damage, though. Beautiful Surging Tides from Stowe is going to keep his Baron laner topped off. Rest now has to run away as Beginning was taken down.
This Singed is sick. He actually canceled the perfect execution from MTS with his flip. That was awesome. Just flinging him right back into the danger zone. Another great pick for free agents. And they
Whoa! So, what? What?
We've seen that happen twice now on the stream, where Lucian just dashes right into like 8 members and just dies.
That's definitely not an Alk Battery Lucian. I know we like to give him a lot of flack for a lot of things, but he's usually more passive and reserved. So. Tri-Feed might get locked up here. Doesn't have Death Mark. Has already used it, and yep, it's a nice pick from Sentinels.
And Sentinels punishing the whoopsies from free agents very well. They get that turret, their first of the game, and they've got control over this top side of the map too. Let's see if they can actually shut down Singed. Suki hasn't died quite yet. I like this build that he's going for. He's going for the damage over time, Leandries, and I believe it's going to be a Rylai's Crystal Scepter eventually too. There's a lot of utility and just overall damage that you can get from this champion. I'm liking it.
So far, he doesn't have the most gold on his team, but like you said, Smacks, getting a lot of work done. Soju Rain is going to get caught out once again. Sentinels being able to isolate the Dragon Laner for free agents in this bottom jungle. There's no objective to take really for it, as the minion wave is not quite in a good state for them to make the push, as the rest of the members of free agents do answer in this rotation.
And with the Lucian dying twice now in a row, I can feel an "I told you so" coming from Alk Battery. He already gave us a rant on why he doesn't think Lucian is that good and he thinks he's overrated. We're gonna get an "I told you so." It's coming eventually. Just watch the Twitch chat, everybody. He'll be there.
Alk was right all along. Smile.
So far, there's still time for him to be wrong. If Soju Rain can turn it around, but it is looking like he is right, which is one of the worst things that can ever happen, I think.
Don't want to give him too much ego. And yes. Potentially trying to look for a bait on Suki as Sheesh was waiting in the wings. A lot of damage that just came out of Tri-Feed as he went in for a death mark play. Doesn't take down any of the members of Sentinels. Nice cooldown being used from free agents. Gives Sentinels a little bit of agency to now go for a play. Righteous Glory being popped up. Sparkle, he's all isolated. Crescent Guard is going to throw them all back.
Nice
Out of wave
wave.
is nice for disengage. And now here comes Suki with the Rylai's Crystal Scepter Poison. It's going to slow a lot of the members down from Sentinels. But a nice two-man knock up in the back line from Beg. It's going to set up MTS to clean up house. Perfect execution. Looks for one, looks for two. It's a triple.
MTS may have gone down, but that was clean as can be, Rafa. So many kills means the Sentinels can start this up, and this is where Rakan, his first ability, Gleaming Quill, is super useful. You can top off all of your friends with it. You can land it onto that Baron and heal up everyone. You can see it used there again. Very valuable against Baron and any assassins that are trying to kill you.
Goodness.
He can't even get in. Tri-Feed just locked out of the pit. That's a full Baron now for Sentinels. They've got a commanding lead now.
And look at Beg's build. He's building a hat, Smacks. He's getting the death cap. His Rakan is going to do so much damage.
That's the confidence build right there. You know what? Eventually, when Medjai's Soul Stealer joins the game, that's going to be my favorite item. Just instantly. I love Medjai's. Drake started up now for Sentinels. Stove still has that redemption, using it to spot them out. I don't know if they can get in, though. Sparkle's got a nice position.
Tidal Wave comes out. Sparkle is trying to look for a Wind Becomes Lightning and charge, but Tri-Feed just goes straight for the prize. No Zonya's Hourglass for Michael anytime soon. He's going to go down. Beg chasing off Soju Rain as MTS was looking for the perfect execution. Despite Sparkle being able to find Michael, he gets traded out with Tri-Feed and Stove. And Sentinels maintain a numbers advantage to secure that dragon.
They baited in Sentinels so beautifully well. They kept the Drake at about 3,000 HP, so even if Sparkle tried to dash in, they could just kill him right away. He did not have enough burst to take down the dragon from that health. Sentinels get yet another objective in the mid lane too with that turret and keeping their gold lead alive. They still have the Baron buff on their champions too. This is a nice snowball from Sentinels, and again, like I was saying in the draft phase, this composition feels a lot more standard from what we expect from Sentinels and what we expect from team comps in general for Wild Rift. It's a lot less split pushers, and you can see that the ease of execution is helping out Sentinels a lot in this game too.
At this point, Sentinels have made for themselves an 8,000 gold lead. It is not the brink, it's not the point of no return for free agents, but when you look at how the members stack up for Sentinels, you know, Sheesh, his time and effectiveness, it's done. He's done what he needed to do in the early game. Now the story is all about looking at rest. 3 items on this Xayah: Infinity Edge, Navori, Quick Blade, Solari, Charge Blade, and MTS.
Beg's got the hat.
And Beg's got the hat too. So there's a bunch of significant AoE damage that is coming out from Beg as Tri-Feed just has a flash over the wall. He can't fight against Rest. He doesn't have Death Mark. He already tried to use it onto Michael, and he has run out.
Rafa, when I'm playing Zed and the AD carry flashes towards me, that does not feel very good.
It's terrifying. I think at that point as a Zed, you feel like you can't do anything because we saw exhaust being popped out from Michael. Zonia's Hourglass is also available for him. I feel like at this point in the game, with Stasis on 3 champions now, who as Zed do you get to go for?
the minions.
Nice.
Well, he's got a chance now. Oh, he's doing it.
Okay, he's gonna go for it, trying to go off the timer cooldown, but it's only about a fourth of Michael's health. It's a decent chunk, but thanks to Beg, should be able to keep him topped off. Michael is just gonna take a recall right now, come back to the lane. Does have Destiny coming up in a few seconds, and oh no.
Oh boy.
Don't do it! Don't do it! Oh my god, Stove, run! Sparkle is also taken for the hills, but Sheesh is just saying, Stove ain't getting away from me, man.
Say it, Rafa.
Oh, well, let's save it. Let's save it. Let's save it.
Okay, okay.
Redemption comes out.
Oh.
Here we got the big fight. Sheesh is going through. Sheesh! Man, just scaring off the entire back line from free agents. Sentinels wiping house. Tri-Fate is the only survivor left. Barely makes it out alive. And Sentinels are going to be looking for the game-ending push and to clip the series.
I'm glad we saved it, Rafa. Well done for Sheesh. Well done for Sentinels. 2-0 after that Nexus. Look at those happy bees. Oh, that's just a feel-good moment. You get to see all the bees smiling at you. And you know what else is a good moment? Our good friend Casanova joining us.
Yeah,
back.
he's also a happy bee as well. So Casanova, you know, how did it feel to be watching from the spectator view for that series?
Yeah, of course. I am a happy little bee over here watching the games today.
We have matching nails.
We do maybe. Mine are black.
Yours are
Matte
black. Okay, mine are like a slate color. Okay. That would have been cool.
I don't have painted nails, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just
Where's
do the
your
bare
painted nails
minimum of cleaning them and clipping them. I don't do
right.
the color thing.
All right, well-
Production, can we get a 2-box? I think we need just me and
Yeah,
Casanova
I think
for a
so.
minute.
Oh my god, I'm getting
a couple points
shamed.
real quick. I got a couple points. First, I need to join the fun. Sheesh! I just needed to get that in.
Nice.
Really.
Oh,
It's
all
like
right,
two
fine.
bucks.
All right, goodbye,
Those are
everyone.
2 bucks. For me, there's one problem I have with Sentinels. They got the 2-0. I think they need to find an identity. I'm looking through my notes. I see the first game they're playing some kind of comp with strong lanes to create some jungle pressure. Then they're playing a dive comp. Then they're playing in game, their third game of the day, which is the game 1 of this series. They're playing a split push comp that they decided to team fight with. And then in the final game, they finally have what I think is maybe the best comp they've had today. It's more of a well-rounded, kind of strong early game, good team fights, solid composition. Now, they've got Sheesh, who has looked like maybe the most impressive jungler in the tournament next to T-Tiger individually. I see Sheesh as being the single most important player for their team out of any other player in the tournament. Like, for Sentinel success, it's all coming off the back of Sheesh making a lot of good early plays and getting their team ahead. So I want to pose the question to you, Smacks. Do you think that Sentinels has to find an identity? And if you do think that, which direction do you want them to go? Because they've been kind of all over the place in the draft.
Well, I think that you're 100% right with this last draft being the most consistent, and overall, I guess you could use the word best. It has been the best they've looked, right? Because for the first 3 games that we've seen them, they lost the first 2, and they were almost going to lose the third. So I think this has definitely been the most convincing game, and I think it is a lot because of that draft. And like I was saying, while we were still in that game, the ease of execution in a composition like this is very, very good. And when MTS is mechanically popping off on a Kali, it makes this comp really work well.
Yes.
And I think a lot of that actually comes down to Beg on Rakan. When Beg is able to find these engages, I think this team just looks a lot better. And I don't think that Senna is a bad champion by any means, but I think that it might be bad for what Sentinels want to do to win games. Because, I mean, even on Senna, he was finding nice engages with the roots. So I think when Beg is activated to be that initiating champion and that initiating player, it does look like Sentinels has an easier time managing fights.
So I to break it down a little bit, it would be Sheesh finding early advantages. So things like Olaf, Xin Zhao, right? The Camille, these are all great for Sheesh. And then getting some engage on the support. Let Beg have some more agency to allow him to activate everyone else around the map, move around and find those picks, create those engages are going to be the ways that we'll see Sentinels really turn it around. And I love that you brought up MTS, because their team fighting in this series on Fiora and Akali, which not always going to be the first champions you bring up for team fighting. Akali, sure,
Very
Akali's
tough,
a great team fighter, but Fiora, his team fighting on Fiora, his heroics in game 1 is one of the biggest reasons that Sentinels won. And I was wondering, Rafa, do you think there's any way that Sentinels can unlock MTS a little bit more, considering these compositions have been more centric around Sheesh and Beg?
If MTS is still gets access to a priority Baron laner like the Gragas or the Garen, then he'll be able to still fulfill his duties. But I think it's definitely nice to see that he has the capabilities, the versatility to play something that takes a little bit more carry responsibilities into his own hands, right? And so that I think that just opens up the flexibility for Sentinels. I wouldn't necessarily say that you have to put a bunch of resources into him, because we saw that when he was on the Fiora and you had the Camille and the Twisted Fate, we thought the game plan was going to be, all right, dude,
Right.
Suki's going to have a bad time as Garen because he's going to have 2 other people setting up tents in his lane. That didn't happen. We only saw 1 gank going over to this other side of the map. So in reality, the MTS was playing, basically a team fight assassin and a dedicated split pusher without really that much help or resources going over to his way. So if he's able to do that on champions that do require a little bit more resources, then I think Sentinels are completely just fine playing the way they are and focusing their priorities on unlocking Sheesh and Beg to be the primary initiators.
All right, that is awesome to hear, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Sentinels continue to progress through the lower bracket. But free agents, I feel like they should be proud of their performance, at least in that game. I think the innovations, bringing out the Singed, I thought it was great. And this is only the first major. They may be eliminated now, but they have plenty more chances to bring it back. And we've got at least 1 more game today. So we're going to send it to a quick break, but more Wild Rift Summoner Series when we return. Don't go anywhere.